Denise Daniels, back in 2017, you filed a lawsuit against Disney claiming that they stole your idea for Inside Out. You were in talks with Disney and Pixar for years, but then they refused the project only to later revamp it and give you the cold shoulder. In the end, Disney has the best lawyers, so we're not surprised that you lost the case, but sadly, you're not the only person this happened to. Disney has famously been accused of borrowing ideas from their staff members and competitors, but it looks like stealing ideas from those around them can be traced all the way back to Walt Disney himself. Keep watching to find out how a reportedly stolen character led to Walt Disney's fame, and how his company has continued to borrow ideas ever since.
Please, call me Johnny Five.
Johnny? You have taken name for yourself?
I'll choose many things for myself.
Pixar produced the animated film Up in 2009. It was distributed by Walt Disney and quickly became a hit, racking in over $700 million in gross revenue. But while everyone at Disney gave each other pats on the back, a French film student named Yannick felt like Disney had just pulled the rug out from underneath him. In 2006, 3 years before Disney released Up, Yannick produced a short film called Above Then Beyond. And Up was eerily similar to Yannick's short. For starters, both the movie and the short starred an elderly person who was living alone in their longtime home. Secondly, both protagonists were being hassled by businessmen to sell their houses, and so both characters chose to bring their homes to the sky, where they could find some well-deserved peace. There were some differences though, like the fact that Yannick's short starred an elderly woman, whereas Disney's showcased a grumpy widow named Carl Fredricksen. Oh, and let's not forget about how Disney's Carl whisked his house up, and away using hundreds of balloons, while Yannick's character used a single hot air balloon.
Please let me in.
No.
If you were thinking of giving Disney the benefit of the doubt, think again, because this next one is too close for comfort. Disney released The Lion King back in 1994, and everything from its storyline and animation to its characters and songs were amazing. But to some people, The Lion King came across as an obvious ripoff of the Japanese film Kimba the White Lion. This movie, which is based off a manga series by Osamu Tezuka, first aired in 1965, decades before The Lion King hit the big screen. Although Disney swears that the inspiration for The Lion King derives from Shakespeare's Hamlet, the semblance between both movies is far too uncanny to be a coincidence. We mean, come on, Simba and Kimba? What are the odds of that? And don't get us started on Scar and how he mirrors the evil lion Claw, down to the scratch on his eyelid. When placed side by side, it's hard to believe that Disney didn't use Kimba the White Lion as a premise for the film.
Whoa, time out. Let me get this straight.
Much like Denise Daniels, Gary Goldman attempted to sue Disney for stealing his idea and designs, only to be met by Disney's ironclad team of lawyers. Gary, a veteran screenwriter, filed a lawsuit against Disney in 2017, accusing them of stealing his idea for Zootopia. Although Gary never released a movie with a similar basis, he did pitch the film to Disney a handful of times between 2000 and 2009, only to be rejected tenfold. So you can imagine his surprise when Zootopia was released, especially since he allegedly came up with the title for the movie. Unfortunately for Gary, his case was thrown out by the judge, who said that there were more differences than similarities between his version and Disney's. However, fans cannot deny that Gary's sketches do share many similarities with the characters Disney would go on to include in their film. It looks like Disney knows a thing or two about taking someone's original idea, revamping it, using it, and getting away with it.
I'm here to ask you some questions about a case.
What happened, Meter Maid? Did someone steal a traffic cone? It wasn't me.
In 2008, Disney Pixar released the movie WALL-E, which follows a waste collector drone who is tasked with cleaning up the planet. The movie takes place in the distant future and was created by Andrew Stanton and animators Brett Parker and Wendell Lee. It was all fun and games until Disney was once again accused of stealing their designs from the 1986 sci-fi comedy Short Circuit. Although Andrew denied using Short Circuit's protagonist, Johnny Five, as inspiration for Wall-E, both robots bear a striking resemblance to each other. For this reason, Andrew Stanton has been asked about this mishap on multiple occasions, and although he has admitted to having watched the Short Circuit film at least once, he denies having borrowed any of its designs. Andrew confessed that he could have subconsciously used Johnny Five as inspiration for Wall-E, but has denied any ill intent or plagiarism. But their similarities are too great to deny.
Wally?
Suing Disney for copyright claims isn't an easy or wise thing to do, and no one knows this better than French writer Franck Calvez, who believes that Disney stole his idea and used it to create the box office blowout, Finding Nemo. According to Franck, he first pitched the idea to Disney in 1995. However, it was rejected, which led him to turn his movie idea into a children's book, which he then published in 2003. During this time, Disney was hard at work creating Finding Nemo, which takes a page out of Franck's book, Parrot the Clownfish. Franck would attempt to sue Disney for copying his main character as well as another character, a lobster who is obsessed with cleanliness. Although Franck did his best to plead his case, Disney lawyers were quick to dismiss him. What's worse is that they countersued the author for damages and legal fees and won. In the end, Franck lost the court case and had to pay Disney close to $100,000.
If it wasn't for you, I never would have even made it here. So thank you.
Disney has a team of excellent writers and producers who go the extra mile to create amazing films. However, there is one writer who has a bad reputation of stealing the ideas of employees and being an all-around credit hog. We're talking about John Lasseter, of course. John has been accused of stealing ideas for as long as he's been at Disney. But one of his former employees, Jorgen Klubian, stated that he pitched the idea to create a film about talking cars to John and was never credited. What's worse is that Jorgen was removed from the project right before it became a huge franchise. On top of allegedly stealing his idea, Cars also seems to be a direct ripoff of the 1991 film Doc Hollywood. Both movies share the same narrative with the exception of Disney's protagonist being a talking car.
And down the stretch they come, and it's too close to call. I don't believe it. Close to call.
It's no secret that Disney draws inspiration from classic fairy tales to create some of their most successful movies. However, Disney has gotten away with this because the original authors are no longer around to file copyright lawsuits against them. Although it's normal to gain inspiration from classic works of art, Disney's history points towards recycling ideas instead of generating new ones. In 1998, Disney Pixar released A Bug's Life around the same time as DreamWorks' Ants. Both movies are so alike that they often spark debate. So how did two different production companies come up with the exact same premise for a movie? Well, the original idea was pitched by an existing Disney employee. However, it was former Disney chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg's idea to ask employees for these pitches. So when he left Disney to start DreamWorks, he took the idea with him. But this didn't fly with John Lasseter, who, despite refusing the original pitch, chose to push forward with the film after Jeffrey's departure. Disney's film has since been coined A Bug's Lie, due to the sketchiness of its origins. It's one thing to steal ideas from other people, but a whole other thing to steal ideas from one's past work. For the first time in Disney history, musicians and writers Alan Menken and Howard Ashman admitted that they had recycled songs and ideas from some of their previous projects. Alan and Howard worked together to compose the soundtrack for the 1986 film Little Shop of Horrors. Then, years later, they were hired by Disney to work on a handful of Renaissance-era Disney movies, like The Little Mermaid. Alan and Howard created the acclaimed song Part of Your World, and it is one of the most beloved songs in Disney history. However, it was quickly revealed that Part of Your World bore one too many similarities to the song Something That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors. Both these musical hits have similar lyrics, structures, and melodies. In fact, they're pretty much identical. Disney's Aladdin has been a hit ever since it hit the big screen in 1992. Although Disney revealed that they loosely based Aladdin on the 1940 version of The Thief of Baghdad, it seems as though they used more than just one film as inspiration. It didn't take long for viewers to point out that Aladdin was a mirror image of the unfinished animated film The Thief and the Cobbler, which had been in development for over 30 years. Clearly, Jafar and Genie are an amalgamation of the original project's antagonist, Zigzag. But if there's one thing that cements Disney's plagiarism, it's the fact that the production company hired several of the animators who had been working on The Thief and the Cobbler.
I have power over people, though they may appear complex.
It comes as no surprise that Walt Disney himself has been accused of stealing ideas in the past. After all, his predecessors would go on to adopt a similar method when scouring for new ideas. According to NY Post, Walt Disney claimed that the idea for Mickey Mouse one day popped into his head while riding the train. But his former friend and animator, Iwerks, tells a very different story. As it turns out, came up with the design for Mickey Mouse but was never credited as the sole creator. He first brought Mickey to life in the animated short Plain Crazy in 1928. However, Walt Disney would go on to take his design and create dozens of Mickey Mouse movies and TV shows while posing as his inventor. Are you surprised to find out that Disney doesn't have the cleanest track record? Do you think that they actually stole these ideas? Sound off in the comments. And thanks for watching. For more fun videos, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on The Things.